Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about the 5B1 passage that you'll be reading over the weekend, give you some background context. So, the first thing I want to talk about is what's going on. So, the first section we had was talking a little bit about the beginning of Catiline's conspiracy and the different people he drew in. So, specifically, we read about the women that he drew into his conspiracy. And some of the other passages in 5a talked about other people, but we're not going to read those because we don't have time. And we want to move on to more exciting things. So 5b1 gets to different tribes that Catiline brought into his conspiracy, and specifically here we have a tribe from Gaul. So, with my badly drawn whiteboard map, hopefully I can explain this to you. So, here, the very distinctive Italy, you see the boot shape. There's Sicily there, that tiny island. Greece with various small islands here. There's modern day Turkey over here. Egypt is down here. Carthage is somewhere down below Italy over here. Modern day Spain or Hispania in the ancient world. Up here we have Britannia. Germania is over here. Rome is somewhere in the middle of this boot, towards the western shore. And then finally we have Gaul is this black splotch here. So it's modern day France, but in the ancient world, it's called Gaul. It was north of Italy and a little bit to the west. And importantly, they had a lot of different difficulties, I guess you'd say, with the tribes in Gaul. So the Roman province was around here, below the Alps, and then that all was called Cisalpine Gaul, or Cisalpina, meaning on the same side of the Alps. And then there's Transalpina Gaul, which is the rest of Gaul, meaning on the other side of the Alps. And Transalpina Gaul is what was a little bit trickier to control for the Romans, because they were constantly trying to expand outward using their military force. So, eventually, when we get to Caesar, he will conquer Gaul and then even go up into Britain and Germania. But right now we're talking about the Allobroges. So they are a specific tribe in Gaul, and they live just over the border from Rome. So they're pretty close to the Italian peninsula here, and they live somewhere in here. So they have a lot of relations with the Romans because they live so close and they're constantly trading and making deals. So that's what the map is. And now we can talk a little bit more about who they are. So in this passage, we have Lentulus following Catiline's instructions, and he's going to talk to the Allobroges to convince them to join this revolution. So he approaches their ambassadors, the legati, and he goes through a man named Publius Umbrenus, who has done business previously in Gaul, as you'll read in this passage. So they try to draw them into the revolution, and the way they do it is by kind of using the Allobroges' debts to inspire them to join the revolution. And that's very similar. We read about the women who had so many debts that they came to Catiline's side. This is the same sort of thing. Catiline is proposing revolution, which is great for people who are having difficulties with the current government and having debt, because if there's a revolution, that debt could be canceled. So that's basically what's going on. You will read more about the details of how he convinces them, their response. It's going to be positive. I'll just let you know that. And my favorite thing from this that I will just mention briefly is the word for revolution, or one of them in Latin, is novae res, new things. So they are doing these incendiary actions for the purpose of new things, or revolution, which is kind of exciting. So the conspiracy is heating up. We're joining with tribes from across the borders now. Foreign allies are coming in, and it should be great. So have a lovely weekend, read your passage, and I will see you all on Monday.